Okay, so three dudes saved a dude before another dude. Good night, everybody.
No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done.
I'm just yanking your quirks. Nah, this chapter of My Hero Academia, very simple chapter to break down, to be honest with you. Even though it was very dramatic, very, the adrenaline was rushing, so to speak, because Natsuo was in danger, of course, from where the last one left off, and Endeavor is, on the move trying to save one of his sons before he has another tragedy similar to what happened to his deceased son Toya, that I'm assuming he wasn't able to save in time. We don't know the exact details of his death or whatever, but seems as though with this chapter, well, for starters, I called it. I definitely nailed it in terms of the fact that this was going to be the opportunity for Deku, Bakugou, and Todoroki Shoto. I gotta constantly say, I don't know why. I feel obliged at this point to say Todoroki Shoto because of all the Todoroki family that we've had in the past couple chapters. But this was the opportunity for the three of them to finally rescue and stop a villain before Endeavor. Now, to be honest with you, and there's a few things that happened. Again, it was a speedy chapter, but there was a couple different things that you can take from this one. One of the things is, I truly believe the only reason they were really able to do this before Endeavor was, you got to think, he was emotionally thrown off because it was leading already up until this point with the chapters. I mean, he just left the house and he was praying to his deceased son, and all the regrets, all the family drama, him thanking his daughter because, hey, at least I got to have some type of meal. A lot of his family problems are weighing on him very heavily. So you gotta imagine, he's just with this trauma that he had from losing his son, getting in the car, going, and then now he could potentially, the thought in his mind, I could lose my other son right here, the one that resents me on top of that. We haven't had no closure. So I'm imagining those emotional aspects is what made Endeavor move just a little bit different and a little bit off, allowing for the other three to be able to do what needed to be done in order to stop this dude ending, which his ending was very quick apparently, right? Like, what type of ending was that? Like, dude sounded like he was, oh my gosh, he's the creme de la creme. We got the new all for one in the house, folks. Except that in about like 2 chapters, dude seemingly got bodied already. But yeah, I truly believe that the big factor as to why they were able to outdo Endeavor in this instant is because, first of all, well, they're already all hungry for this. Second of all, there's 3 of them. Third of all, Endeavor probably was for a second there thrown off. Like, he rushed into it, not really thinking. He's not using strategy. He's just like, gotta save my son. Toya, can't think. Toya, because, as he's looking at Natsuo there in jeopardy, he's just thinking of his deceased son. So that's what I equate to how they were able to finally, after all this training that they had, what was it, a week already, able to outdo Endeavor and stop this guy and save Natsuo in time. Honestly, in the chapter, Bakugou, first of all, looked like a freaking speed demon. Dude looked like just nasty, and I love it because despite the fact that Bakugou sometimes comes across as like, this dude would be a great candidate to be a villain. He's so vicious and such an asshole. He's like pretty much a little Endeavor at this point, you could argue. But, when it comes time to it, he will say, ain't nobody, we ain't gonna catch no bodies on our site, you know what I'm saying? So that was kind of cool, I guess. Again, it was a very, very simple chapter. There was a couple things to it, like, Bakugou and Deku and Todoroki saving dude. I guess one of the other big pieces of this chapter is that in the week-long training that Deku had with Endeavor, and you think about it, it just shows how much of an incredible teacher and just how much Endeavor has grown and changed to be able to, in 1 week, help Deku not necessarily master, but definitely he's advanced and evolved and being able to maneuver his Black Whip power, because we've seen, which it was a little bit odd in a way of like, why did he jump in the air to do it and all that stuff to grab the cards or whatever, but nevertheless, in this week's training, now he's able to somewhat maneuver and use this power that previously all we had was bloop. So we went from bloop, pretty much not being able to do much with this quirk at all, to now he's starting to grasp it, and a lot of it is due to, again, Endeavor saying use your instincts, which it seems as though for the past couple years now, ever since Ultra Instinct and Dragon Ball, being able to surpass your limits and your instincts have become very vital in a lot of storytelling. And I'm not saying that it took it from Dragon Ball, maybe this is an inspiration or something, because Endeavor in the last chapter especially, it was a very focal point, or not the last chapter, last couple chapters when they were training, it was very focal point that Endeavor kept on stressing your instincts. You got to just move before you think, but move in the right way. And it's kind of just like instinctive thing, I guess you could say, your instincts, you know what I mean? So that was something else that I guess was very vital to all three of them being able to do what they did, with Bakugou saving Toya, because Toya was about to get, and I keep saying Toya, Natsuo was about to get flattened by, I want to say there was an oncoming taxi that was about to just take dude out, and Bakugou jumped in, saved, Deku grabbed all the cars, and then Todoroki was like, not my brother, fam, and you can see the shock in Endeavor's eyes of like, wow, you know what I mean? Like, they actually did it. And granted, it took them a week, but it took them a week to be able to accomplish a big goal that the number one hero at this particular point set forth. You gotta imagine what's gonna come from all this. Endeavor's gonna look at them like, wow, they got a lot of potential. Of course, he already believes in Shoto. Todoroki to him is like, that's the golden child no matter what. So I'm sure he believed in him being able to do some of this stuff. But the fact that Deku was able to do it, and Bakugou, and they all did it before him, I'm imagining that's gonna be a humbling experience to Endeavor. Like, wow, you know, even though I'm the number one hero, but I'm a good teacher, and I guess these kids, they got what it takes, because you got to remember, something that's on the horizon is a few months from now, they got a war that's coming. Shigaraki and the League are going to be, you know, coming full force, so I think he's also going to have a little bit of hope in these three at the very least that, well, damn, in a week, this guy was able to maneuver and use this quirk and use his instincts, all three of them, and they accomplished the task that I set forth. So it's going to be good. It's already bearing fruit, the little bit of training that they've had with Endeavor. Who knows? He might even up the training more, because he'll think, wait a minute, if 1 week of training did this, what if we, you know, push it even further and further? Imagine what we could have by the time these few months go by. And if you think about it, if they really trained with Endeavor all this time, and if 1 week bore fruit that Deku is now using the whip power like that, and it went from bloop to that, imagine what a few more months of this will do. I think it's a great thing, if anything, that they're rocking with Endeavor. So one of the criticisms, I guess, very small nitpick of the chapter, was the fact that, like, so, hold on, wait a minute. You guys, in the middle of all this, decided to, like, change your attire? Like, what the hell? Like, granted, they only took central pieces that they needed in order to accomplish the goal or whatever. I think, like, one of them took their gloves or something like that. But, like, in the middle of all this, we're having, like, Sailor Moon transformations. Like, I guess you gotta kind of turn your brain off for stuff like that at the moment. And it's like, wait a minute. Like, just imagine being somebody in the crowd watching all this going down, or, you know, just in the street and being like, so they changing their clothes in the middle of this desperate situation. Because you gotta think, this is all within a few seconds. Endeavor jumped out the car, dude is in the middle of the street, about to flatten and squeeze to death Natsuo, and then they're like, ah yes, let's change our clothes real quick. So just a small nitpick, doesn't really destroy the chapter by any means. Honestly, it was a cool chapter, very, very fast paced, I felt, and it was just kind of solving this one little problem. Ending turned out to be not that much. I thought there would have been maybe a little bit more to him, but I mean, Todoroki bombed on him, Natsuo saved, the cars didn't flatten nobody, and Endeavor's right there. So even if now that Natsuo's out of danger, even if he tries to do anything, Endeavor's just gonna pound him to the ground. But it was nice to see that ending try to pull one of those Joker moves of like, you better kill me now, fam, you ain't gonna be able to lock me up anymore, I've crossed the line, haven't I? So it was a cool chapter. It was, I guess, a little bit showing growth for these three, that after all of their training, it bore fruit, that, again, like I said, Deku can use his ability, they saved somebody and stopped the villain before Endeavor. So overall, it was alright. Curious what you guys thought about this chapter, though. For starters, how do you feel about the three of them? It took them about a week to accomplish Endeavor's big goal that he set forth for them, to, you know, stop a villain and save someone before him. Also, do you think it's what I said in regards to the fact that the reason they were able to outdo Endeavor was because it was a kind of traumatic situation? He just, you know, he lost a son. He was just thinking about the son that he lost, and then now he's before his eyes possibly staring at losing another one of his children. Do you think that that was the main reason? Also, what do you think about Deku seemingly being able to use his whip power a lot better than before? You know, no more bloop. Do you think that if he did that in 1 week with Endeavor, imagine how many more months do you think it'll be like he'll be able to master? I don't want to say master, because he's been using one for all this time, and he still doesn't have that mastered. But at the very least, he has a decent grasp of this power already. So by the time the war starts, he might even have a third quirk at that point. He might be able to use a third power. So we just gotta wait and see. And your overall thoughts and expectations for the future of My Hero Academia with chapter 252 and beyond. 251, cool chapter. The end of ending, I guess you could say. And Bakugou shall I I say. Crazy reactions in this one. I don't know, his facial expressions just had me like, Bakugou, you really into this one, huh, buddy? But that's all I have for this one, though. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links, of course, are in the description below. I'm for Neverworld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule. Anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in.
Enjoy the next ride, but I was the best ride. But I